Hey, it's Thomas Gargle looking from the X and Y Wi-Fi battle from the PSS. This was the second battle I had against this person. The first one, they 3-0'd me, but it was pretty even most of the time. So then I came back, switched 3 of my Pokemon out for ones that would better be suited to dealing with their team, and had this rematch, which was incredibly close in the end. So, looking at their team quick, they've got the Mega Aggron, which was used to set up Stealth Rocks, which I knew from the second I saw it. And I made a bit of a mistake in the first battle, thinking that they would go for an attack instead because I had out... I forget what I had out, but it was something that definitely seemed like they were going to use their Aggron to attack instead of set up Stealth Rocks, so I didn't switch out into Espeon. I did not make that mistake in the second battle. And everything else they have was just either bulky or very powerful attackers. I don't want to waste any more time going into detail with it since we're already a minute and 15 seconds in. So I led with Garchomp so that there would be absolutely no chance of him trying to attack me so that I could have a perfect switch into Espeon to bounce back the Stealth Rocks. I didn't want to have in anything that might entice him to attack. And I also want him to think that maybe I was going to try and take out his Aggron. So Espeon finally gets to do something great. So I just go for the Psychic there to get off a little bit of damage, because I learned in the previous battle that Pyro could one-shot this Aggron if it was at just over 3/4 health, so I didn't want to take a chance that Pyro wouldn't be able to one-shot it at full health. So here I was a bit worried because in the previous battle I didn't find out what this Ninetales' ability was. As soon as I saw the drop though, I was very much relieved because I had gone for Flamethrower. And the insane damage from that crit. And the Ninetales just goes down without doing anything whatsoever. So here I'm hoping I can one-shot this thing, because normally Solar Beam doesn't one-shot an invested Rotom, but it does one-shot. I don't know if it was thanks to the Stealth Rocks or not, but if it was, it helped. So here I was worried that this thing would outspeed and one-shot. So the best thing to switch into was Kagami for being a special and physical wall. If you didn't already know, Kagami is half invested in defense, half invested in special defense, fully invested in HP, and has a special defense nature. So I just protected to get back a little HP before switching out. That way I could switch Kagami back in later and get even more HP. So I had to completely sack off Florissa. Florissa usually doesn't get much use outside of being something I switch in to sack off. Sadly. Sometimes, though, she does get some very good use in being a special wall. So I went for Poison Jab because that was the only reliable thing to hit the Staraptor with. And I switched in Pyro, figuring that he was probably going to try and set up his own Stealth Rocks now. But now that Pyro is in, the Stealth Rocks really don't have much effect on me whatsoever, unless I switch Pyro back out. And even if I do that, he's at full health, so he can take 2 Stealth Rock switch-ins. Now, I'm not sure if he forgot about this when he switched out his Staraptor to begin with, or if he thought it could live, but Staraptor goes down to Stealth Rock damage the second it comes back in. He probably figured that he could take the Stealth Rock damage, but ended up making a bad guess. So here I was expecting a Wild Charge, because commonly Diggersby have Wild Charge, and then the return surprisingly takes me out. Takes out a Garchomp. I mean, not invested in defense or anything, but still sort of surprising that Garchomp's bulk couldn't handle that. And the Diggersby lives on, looks like 1 HP there. Single HP. So now Kagome is in a perfect situation to take this thing out. Revenge kill with a Leaf Blade. Chlorophyll, speed doubled in the sun. There's no chance this thing is outspeeding or surviving. And he probably didn't... He was either sacking it off or figured I wasn't Chlorophyll. So here, he was probably very surprised to see that I had the Aerial Ace. Unfortunately, he gets a Will-O-Wisp off, which means Kagome can now barely do anything. And because of Harvest in the sun, he's going to get a Citrus Berry every single turn, meaning this Aerial Ace is now only going to bring him down to where he can get a Citrus Berry. And he's going to be at the same amount every single turn. And then I was surprised with this Poison Jab here, seeing that this thing is actually mostly offensive somehow. I'm not sure if it's invested in defense and has an offensive moveset, or if it was it probably was that. Otherwise, it probably would have taken Kagome out. Now here, absolutely perfect position. Due to Kagami being able to outspeed, I can proceed to set up a substitute to take this Phantom Force, since it would hit through Protect. So here, I know he's going to go for another Phantom Force, and I know that I outspeed, so I can land the Toxic. Now this thing is Toxic, and I'm in an absolutely perfect position. He can't touch me at all. I'm going to heal up the same amount every 2 turns and be able to get another substitute. Meaning it's only a matter of time until the toxic damage racks up enough for this thing to just die. It is literally impossible for the opponent to win now. Even if predictions were made and he managed to somehow take out Kagami, Kagome is still there in the back with the Aerial Ace, and once toxic damage racks up enough, the Aerial Ace would be able to one-shot once it was low enough. So and I believe he forfeits here, since he knows there was no way he could possibly win. It was just completely and utterly impossible because of the strategy here. Not so much a strategy, just I have to keep using the same couple of moves and I automatically win. Not sure if you would even call it a strategy, but yes, he forfeits right there. So even if somehow he had made predictions that would have taken Kagami out, by the time he would have done that, Kagome was there in the back with the Aerial Ace. So as soon as the Trevenant was toxic, it was complete and utter win condition for me. There was no way he could have won once that Trevenant was toxic. So if you want to battle me, at me on Twitter asking for a battle. So, see you next time.